Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, CNBC News, NBC News Radio, NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, iTunes, TuneIn, Podchaser, GeoSun, Rumble, Tiki Live, and more. I'm Dr. Marissa. I'm so delighted to be with you again this morning. This is show number 750. Unbelievable. And it just brings such a smile to my face every morning when I get to splatter more hope and happiness on you, because this is a show about hope and happiness. No gossip, no scandal, no K-words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. Yes, I'm on a happy 88 mission. Why so many eights? Eight's a lucky number in Chinese. I know you thought I was Swedish, but we are on this mission because life is way too forking short to be in a bad mood every day or almost every day. And I know there's so much to be not happy about, but there is also more to be happy about. And that's my Kool-Aid that I'm asking you to drink every single weekday morning. Delighted to be here. Thank you so much for all those who make this possible. I haven't thanked my guys at KCAA for California Minute, so I'll start there. Starting with Fred Lundgren, my station owner, Mark Westwood, my station manager, my sound engineers, Sam and Polly, and all the guys in the back end. Don't go there. All the guys behind the scenes. Let's see if I can get them all. Miguel doing social media, as well as Rick in the morning, automating Joe, and who did I miss, Sam? There's not a Brian there, is there? I can't remember. But if I missed you, I'm sorry, but I love you and I so appreciate your constant ability to support me at this station. And if you are within listening distance and you'd like to have a coaching session on here free, you can be anonymous, because I do happiness coaching. Callers on Tuesdays and Thursdays answering questions of the day. Thursdays, my new co-host, regular Sam Works, who has his own show on Sunday. Thursdays, we talk about just about everything. We talked about dating last Thursday, which was kind of fun. And then Friday, I'm excited to announce I have a regular host on Fridays. Her name is Cynthia Coffey. And you've seen her here a couple of times as a guest on my show. So we'll be talking about all things women as well. Every other week, I have a new co-host. You saw her here on Monday, I believe. Yeah, yesterday. She's a professor. She's a specialist on aging, sensuality, and all things about seasoned women. And she'll be coming on every other Wednesday. And then once a month, we're going to do our dream interpretation with Julie Lohr. So we've got great things lined up on a regular basis as well. I'm so delighted. Tomorrow, I have a wonderful special guest who single-handedly read my entire dissertation when he was on vacation, and for which I owe him the world. Dr. Don Mencken was one of my professors and one of my trilogy who got me through my PhD way back when, and he took his professorship and parlayed it into this wonderful career because he loves travel. So he's a very celebrated author and travel writer. So he'll be on the show tomorrow. And then on Friday, I mentioned Cynthia Coffee. And then the following Monday, I'm so excited to tell you that I have a repeat guest coming on. And this time she's coming on because I didn't even know. Those of you who miss Betty White and my friend Anson Williams, who you know is Potsy and has been on the show many times. He's in my Sizzler that you get to hear while the news is on in the morning. He posted about Betty White and how much he missed her. And unbeknownst to me, one of my favorite couples who was on just recently, the Kleins, Ron and Arlene Klein, they've been married 62 years. You'll know Ron as the guy who invented the credit card electromagnetic strip on the back. So you know him. You may not know him, but you do know of him and benefit from his invention. Well, his wife ends up, actually, they both were close friends of Betty White, and especially Arlene. She served on the board with Betty and has beautiful letters from her and photos. And Betty loved their dogs, Scooter, I believe. And we have pictures of all of that. And that's coming up a week from Monday. So you just keep it here. I have plenty of guests and topics to keep you 88% happy. So, and to that end, we also start each show, almost every show, with breakfast. So if you're ready for breakfast with me, we're going to take a bite of my gratitude sandwich, which speaks to starting the day with what you like about what's going around you. There's plenty to say I don't like. There's plenty to complain about. But I take from one of my teachers, Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's on the other side. If you start your day with 5 gratitudes, then you'll have a great day. And instead of doing 5, I do 8. I'm a recovering perfectionist. And you know that the number 8 is a phone for good fortune. And that is from my Chinese roots and heritage. All right. So some of you asked me too, are you full Chinese? Do you have a lot of people think I have mixed. In fact, a lot of Filipinos or Filipinas believe that I am Filipina because I have a little darker skin, but I think it's because I race sailboats, so I get in the sun a lot. I'm actually almost 100% Chinese with a dash of Mongolian. And that, so don't piss me off. Horses and swords and all of that come out. No, I'm just kidding. But let's start with our gratitude sandwich. I don't know if you wanted to join me today as well as Thursday, Sam. If you do, pipe in. If not, I will go ahead and start. My first gratitude is my YouTube views are like up 6, 7. Today was 9,000 views. I don't know what's going on for the month period, but I'm happy to see that. That means that anyone who bet on my inability to attract people who liked good news was wrong. So I'm grateful for that number. Sam, you want to chime in, or are you going to pass till Thursday? Thursday. All right. I am grateful. And if you are eyeballing me right now, which I do see, we have people eyeballing, which means that you're listening and watching to this live show this morning. Please do put your gratitudes in the chat box. I'll put them on the screen. Or if you're driving, don't do that. And just look at the person to your, if you're driving, to your right, or say your gratitudes out loud so that you can participate in breakfast. My second gratitude is that the sun shines in California almost all the time. My third gratitude is I know that the sun shines even when it's not shining visibly. So we're always under the sun's power. 4, I'm grateful that I have this amazing coffee every morning to delight my taste buds. And I'm going to just take a sip right now and be one with my coffee. Now, people who have watched me have good food know this. You ready? Mm, 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 mm. Now that's called being one with your coffee. And if you haven't tried being one with your food or drink, I challenge you to start that, because oftentimes we're so busy these days. It's eat on the run, drink on the run, and you don't even enjoy this thing called the senses. What we're listening to, we usually listen and talk at the same time, or, we're always multiing, and we miss out on that present moment, which is a gift. That's 5. I'm grateful that I know how to be present. That's 6. I'm grateful that I found some arm exercises to try to tone up my arms. 7. And finally, I am grateful that I know the universe is friendly, and I know that everything that happens to me is for my divine and best good. And I choose to believe that. And because of that, I feel good most of the time, no matter what happens. All right. So that's 8 gratitudes. Tonight, you get the bottom of the bun, and that is 8 appreciations of yourself. So again, I don't see anybody wanting to chat this morning. That's fine. You may not have had your coffee yet, but what are 8 specific things that you appreciate about yourself? And this is exercising that muscle of choice. How are you approving of yourself so you don't have to constantly go out into the world with antenna looking for someone to complete you or tell you how good you are or tell you, what's good about you? If you know what's good about you most of the time, then you're not so bothered by criticism, and you're also not looking constantly for someone to compliment you and go fishing for compliments. And I don't know about you, when I was married, my husband would always be like, I'd get mad at him even if he gave me a compliment, because I would ask him for it. Well, do you like this outfit? How do I look? Or, did you like that meal? And he would grudgingly give me a compliment, and I would then turn around and say, well, that doesn't count because I had to ask you for it. Why can't you just say it? And what I realized was he does what he wants, and I'm responsible for making myself feel good about me. That's nobody's job but mine. And that was a huge lesson. And when you can learn how to love yourself 88% of the time, I'm telling you, that is the ticket for some foundational work to have an amazing life, because you're less rocked by who and what is said around you. So, speaking of which, that came out of my number 1 bestseller, 8 Ways to Happiness, and I'm in a giving mood. So the Asian Oprah giveaway today is a free audiobook of this book that you can actually get at Target now and Walmart. The distribution has gone beyond bookstores and Amazon, which I'm grateful for. So just go to drmarissa.life and put down, appreciation. That's the code word in the subject line at drmarissa.life, and I'll send you a free download of the book. All right. I think I was on appreciation number 3. I also appreciate my sense of humor. I love to laugh. I appreciate that I know how to laugh at myself. That's number 5. I appreciate that I am, as some people have said, the most positive person that they have ever met. Number 6. Number 7 is I recognize I'm positive, not to pretend or try to make you happy, but it just makes me feel better. Number 7, I appreciate that I have stopped being afraid of what people think of me 88% of the time. And finally, I appreciate knowing that I can be generous. And today is actually my husband's birthday. And so I can be generous enough, even though there's a plethora of hurts and a myriad of things that I didn't like about the way he treated me. I can still wish him a happy birthday. And that book I just told you about, chapter 4, is Out of Hatred into Forgiveness. And if you're still holding on to some anger and hostility and hate and revenge of someone in your life, I know by experience that that's going to spill over into your life. So if you want to know more on how to really forgive, and if you say I'll forgive and I haven't forgotten, that doesn't count, because you're still seething at some point during the day that is going to take away from your happiness. So if you want to do some forgiveness work, actually, if you want to do it live, I think that would be a great exercise. If you're game to do that, you don't have to be on camera, and you can also change your name. But I would love to help you with that. So there's your breakfast sandwich, and hopefully it was good and tasty as it was for me. If you've just tuned in, I see more eyeballs coming in. Today's show is all about Leos. Yes, it is that time of the year. It officially started August 1st, even though my birthday isn't until August the 10th. I, as a typical Leo, would like to celebrate the entire month. So if you're a Leo, put your actual date in the chat, and I'm going to go get my actually anybody that wants to have their on this day birthday read to them. And Sam, I'll get yours too. It's an interesting book that sort of predicts. It's like a chart, except it's in a book, and we don't have to get an astronomer here. Thank you for that hug emoji from someone on the chat. I just love celebrating birthdays. I think that it's a wonderful way to affirm how special you are that one day or week or month, however you want to celebrate it, even if you do half birthdays. But it is part of that exercise to feel good. It's also a little bit of a trap, though, and I'll say this now before we go on break. The trap is, I don't know about you, when I was a kid, I'd always have these expectations that the birthday was going to be a great day. It was going to be, nothing was going to go wrong. People were going to wish me a happy birthday. It was going to be so great. I was going to be surprised with a great gift. And birthdays were, something to look forward to. And almost always, partially because I grew up not necessarily in the most loving place. I was, and birthdays turned out to be a horrible time. One, because I had to share it with my brother, because his is on the 13th. I hated that. But more so because of the expectations I had. And then it was a stressful time because, my mom wanted to, make everybody happy, and it ended up something would go wrong. And then I would get the brunt of it's all my fault, because that's how she showed her affection. She was a tiger mom on steroids, and those of you who've seen the Fox special talking about that, and I talk to her every other day, and I love her, and I've forgiven her, and she's asked for forgiveness on that. And that aside, it was just, birthdays were not fun for me. I think I had the worst hurtful moments on my birthday. So I didn't have very good memories. And so there's that double-edged sword. I don't know if I'm preaching to the choir. If you've had, bad birthdays yourself, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So it's been one of those weird things. Oh, wow, Kathy's here, and her birthday is the same as mine. I think I knew that. But oh my goodness, I'm so glad you're streaming today with that birthday. So this whole show is going to be, the rest of the show is going to be about you and me for August 10th. But I'm so happy that I can make my birthday anything I wanted to. And I was going to throw a party, and parties are so much work. So if you would like to throw me a surprise party, you can come down to the beach. I'll give you full lay of the land, and you can take charge, and you have a venue, a free, expensive venue, because we've got like an infinity jacuzzi and a pool and bikes and paddle boards and a restaurant downstairs. You just have to plan it. Okay, there's the offer for today. But we'll be right back after a quick break, and we'll go to the book on your birthday. I'm going to re-show a wonderful clip that talks about Leos and their destiny from a fabulous astrologer. I'm going to try to have her come back for my birthday, proper Rachel Lang. But we'll be back with more here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Sam. Oops.
What if conforming to the world was exploring the world? What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life you have to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time? Have relationships that we enjoy most of the time? And use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death? What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? The sooner you turn "it's impossible" to "I'm possible," the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed and making it. What if starts with
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA. This AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where you can get all my past 750 shows, as well as my red carpet playlist with all kinds of wonderful interviews with, a breath of peace and comfort out to the families and friends and fans of a beautiful woman that I was so lucky to have two red carpet interviews with, Nichelle Nichols, who just passed, and Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek. What a beautiful, wonderful, if you haven't seen my little clips with her, oh my goodness, her sense of humor was unbelievable. I asked her if I could ask her how old she was and or how young she was. And she said, no. And then, yes, you can ask, but I'm not going to tell you. So it just, she is still beautiful on the other side. So please do watch those. And today we're talking about me and Leo's. It's my birthday month. And I hope you're still here, Kathy. Her birthday is also August the 10th. And if you are, let me know in the chat, and then I might even bring you on here. But I want you to tell the story of how we know each other, which is, you're one of my longest, even though I'm ageless, friends. And I believe we met when I was modeling a long time ago. So I want you to tell that story. But August 10th is our birthday. And I brought you a little clip to watch from when I had my charts read by an astrologer about being Leo. So enjoy.
To stop. In psychology, we call it. Let's just start broadly about horoscopes. And I'm a very high in psychology. We call it internal locus of control. So there's two spectrums. People who are external locus of control people are usually those who believe in fate or believe in astrology to the extreme where I'm not going to live my life until I check what it says, what's going to come today. And then I'm going to move and groove and modify what my plans were based on my astrological forecast. That's a high external locus of control. I'm high internal locus of control. And those are the people that says it doesn't matter what the economy says. It doesn't matter what the forecast is for jobs or anything, or it doesn't matter what kind of family you came in from. You create your own reality. You create your life the way that you believe it is. And so with that high focus, horoscopes have never been that much of a determinant. However, I do know myself enough that the other day, Tawana was saying, why do you want to be in the front row of the choir? Why do you, when we go, and I looked at her, I'm like, I'm a Leo. Of course I will. Are you kidding me? So I do use it, right? I may not take a huge stock in it, but I do use it. So I wanted today to have you come on. I gave you my birth date. You're not allowed to say the year because I'm ageless.
I would never do that.
Yes, thank you.
Astrology is based, looks at the person as a whole person. So when you look at a chart and you construct a chart, every single planet symbolizes some aspect of your personality, some aspect of your life. And just to kind of speak to what you were saying about, how much of our lives is destined and how much can we create. I believe I approach astrology not as it's this absolute, definite, way to read what's happening in your future. I agree with you that we do create our lives and that our choices, our thoughts, our actions, the people that we encounter, everything shapes and molds the trajectory of where we're going. Now, what astrology does that's so beautiful is it reminds us of how intricately connected we are to the universe, to the divine, to one another, in ways that transcend our understanding, in ways that we can see and not see. And so I operate under the premise, I operate my whole life under the premise that the divine is always mediating in our environment, always participating in our lives in a way that we can actually see things, see symbols, see messages, see information just in the fact that you called me on the show is symbolic that, it's kind of a guidepost moment that the divine is saying, hey, Rachel, you're on the right path. Keep going in this direction. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or sometimes if you have like a butterfly crosses your path and you instantly think of a loved one who's passed on in spirit, you're getting a message from that, from that incident.
That message.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
So astrology is kind of like that.
Well, you got me then. So, because that still is aligned with the creating, because if you create just based on nothing, it's alone. But if you create based on the belief system that there is a friendly universe out there and that there is this grand plan and design that you live in joy, which is my belief system, and that everything that happens to me is for my divine and best good, then I can still hold the signpost, as you put it, around the planetary, the forces that shape who we are. Okay, so I'm in.
Absolutely. and so so I could when I see your chart,
yes,
I see all these symbols of your divinity. I see all these marks, that Leo quality, that Leo characteristic of like, I want to be the center stage. It's interesting. So, because Leos have a real need to be self-expressive. And with Leos, it's more about, there's this sense that your calling is to be a messenger.
A wallflower.
No, yeah, totally, a wallflower. Well, it's interesting because a lot of Leos struggle with they have a lot of charisma. And there are two types of Leos.
Okay.
There are the types of Leo who, as children, and from the work that you do, that so much of who we are is shaped in our childhood experiences. And for Leos, you have a lot of charisma, a lot of personal presence, and so when you walk into a room, everyone's going to know it. And Tawana, you have a Leo rising, so this fits you too.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
I am listening.
Wow.
So
that's why we get along.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I mean,
so.
it's really there are other compatibility markers as well.
Okay.
But what happens when you have a lot of Leo in your chart and you're a child is that you walk into a room, you fill it up, and everybody sort of notices you. And as a child, your world is such that you can look at that and say, everybody's looking at me, there's something wrong, or I'm being judged, and especially if you have a wounded childhood. So there are two types of Leos. The types of Leo who says, everyone's looking at me and I love it. I'm going to step even more out on stage. Or sometimes a lot of times Leos, the stage gravitates toward them. So their parents might push them, or they might, land roles early in life, or have experiences that give them a platform to step up on and perform. Or there are other kinds of Leos who say, this is scary, everyone's looking at me, there's something wrong, I'm going to go into hiding.
Yeah.
And if you've just tuned in, you are listening to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. And today we're talking about, what sign are you? And it's not a pickup line. It's actually an exploration of the horoscope with Rachel Lang from Listen Up. If you are listening and you're a Leo or a Gemini or any of these other signs that we're going to go through, you might catch a glimpse of why you are the way you are, maybe. So I'm going to, because it's all about me, how many planets? I've been told.
I love this.
Sorry,
you are
this
such
is
a Leo.
right?
With an Aries rising.
And I do have an Aries rising, right?
Yeah.
Because I was told that, and my big brother, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, when I told him that, he goes, oh, well, that makes total sense, because not only do you have to do everything, you have to be the best at everything. And I went, okay, that's me. So as much as I want to fight this, it is true. Now, is it because I was born on that particular date and time and location? It also goes by location, that I was like, is there any way that I couldn't be as shy as I am? Is there any way that I couldn't be, want to do everything? Is it because of the stars that I am the way I am, or the force of who I wanted to be coming in landed me in that?
It's more of that
constellation.
It's more.
Okay.
It's more of that. It's more of your soul had a spark of knowledge of what it wanted to do when it was here on this earth. You had a reason why you wanted to come, and you said, you know what? Here's this family, and this family looks pretty good, and I've got this particular date that I absolutely want to be born on at this particular time, because so the chart is a reflection of your soul's greatest desires, of who you are.
I like that.
Yeah.
Chart is a reflection of your soul's greatest desire.
Right.
Love it, love it, love it.
And sometimes those greatest desires aren't the things that are the easiest. Yeah. So for example, one of the influences that you have in your chart is Saturn, which is the planet of that tells us about our early parental environment, our primarily relationship with father, and also it's the planet of that indicates our limitations, our kind of hardwired, challenging beliefs. And for you, your Saturn's in retrograde at the time of your birth, which a lot of times indicates that you came here with some real abandonment fears. And some real that is one of the fears that plays out for you in much of your life. And so I would say that your soul probably desired to learn about connection and about the need for others through some of those early experiences of abandonment and some of those biggest fears that led you to really craving connections with others.
So would that explain the revolving door that is my love life?
That would explain it. Okay. that would definitely explain it.
All right then. See, I can't help it. It's in this constellation.
It is, but you can take that and say, okay, this is the revolving door.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about your chart is that we talked about this just before the show. You have Mars, which is the planet that indicates your attraction for men and your attraction for partners. Is your Mars is in the sign of Virgo, in the 6th house. So there's you heal. You're in the constant process of healing, of healing those early wounds. So your healing, your personal healing, then goes to serve other people. And so there's a real tendency for you to take all of your experiences, say, okay, I'm thinking them through. I've got it. Yeah. I've got all this Leo energy. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to express myself. I'm going to step up on stage. I'm going to influence other people. I'm going to inspire other people. That's what fire does. Fire lights, fire. If you think about the element of fire, Leo and Aries and Sagittarius are all fire signs. If you think about the element of fire, when a spark catches something, it's an instant. It like immediately ignites, like fire wants to spread. And that's you. Your messages, your words all want to spread. Yeah.
The TV,
the
books, the motivational speaking. Okay. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, totally.
All right. Good.
Of your personal
How many Leo things do I have?
You have
she's laughing.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.
Wow.
6. I'm counting Lilith and the North Node too. So I'm counting 2 other points that aren't like major planets. But in terms of major planets, you have Uranus, the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury.
Which is pretty strong.
That's pretty strong.
So I just can't help myself.
In the 5th house, which is Leo's house. So it's like all of those Leo planets are even more, they're even more of an embracing their Leo-ness by being in that house.
So that tells me, I'm having a moment of awareness. So one of the things that my mom was always really unhappy with me was my standing out, right? Because I'm Chinese, and Chinese and Japanese have that saying, the nail that stands up is hammered down.
Wow.
So I carry around, every time I open my mouth, I have this voice in the back of my head that says, shh, you shouldn't be so big. You shouldn't be so, be smaller, be smaller, be smaller. And so that fight within me is one that has haunted me. And so what I'm getting right now is that I chose this, and that I am required to have a certain amount of that in order to do what I do. So I need to just knock that crap out of my head to stop.
Wow. It's still true. I'm really glad that I have archives to go back to. It was brilliant. The applause was for Rachel Lang and my sidekick, Tawana Floyd, that day. If you want to hear that whole thing and find out what Tawana's profile is like, just go to my YouTube channel, where you'll also get the short film in full that I showed during the when NBC was doing their news, that I stuck in there, the trailer to post-pandemic possibilities. So so definitely, Leo, I'm going to read August 10th. If you were born on August 10th. And Kathy, remind me, I got the wrong person when I was thinking that she was the one that modeled with me. She's actually someone, and I'll put this here. I spoke to the group and a while back and met her there. Lovely, lovely person. And so you can read that. But so here's the interesting thing. I was born on August 10th, and I'm reading from this book. Let's see if I can show this. It's a huge book, The Secret Language of Birthdays. And if you want me to read your birthday while we have time, put your birthday in the chat. But August 10th, and every day has a label. And guess what the label is for August 10th? The day of the velvet voice. And it has an image of, broadcast. What are the chances of that? What are the chances of that? I mean, radio, velvet voice, commentary, whatever. So August 10th, people project their image forcefully on the world around them. Theirs is a voice that literally must be heard. It is noteworthy that their mode of expression often assumes equal importance with the content of their statement. Thus, matters of style and technique figure prominently in their communication. August 10th people are often sought out by others for their liveliness and good humor. Highly dependable. There's nothing flighty about them. They have a great capacity for making people feel good and thus make excellent entertainers. When they feel appreciated, the ability of those born on this day to give of themselves, not only to loved ones, but many with whom they come in contact in daily life, seems unlimited. And yet giving can be an escape for avoiding the difficult but important introspective work that needs to be done in order to bring their personality to full bloom. And it goes on for like pages and pages, so we're not going to do it. But isn't that interesting that I chose? I really like what Rachel said. It's not so much that I'm determined that my horoscope or the planets determine who I was, but my soul wanted to experience all the things that I wanted. So I came in on this day. And I love that non-fatalistic interpretation of what planetary horoscopes and astrology mean to me personally. And for those of you who don't make a decision until you look at your horoscope, that's a more external locus of control, as I was talking about, the psychological term, and you are afraid of making decisions because fate already has it. I challenge you to listen to her words again on how we do choose, and maybe we didn't understand that what we chose. Certainly, when someone said at one point, you chose your parents, and I said I would never have chosen to grow up in a house full of trauma. I never would have chosen that. But now that I look back and I know that it's not what happened to me, it's what happened for me, and that everything happens for my divine and best good, this all aligns with that. So I came into this 6 planets of Leo for a reason. And obviously I'm living my reason now with this show that is 9 years old. So I'm super excited about that. Let's see, Sam, let me read yours. What's your birth date? I can go to the book. Or did you go to the bathroom? Let's see. We've got Baptiste Jean here. He's in Africa. He worked with Jesse, and I had Frederick from Rwanda, who got his arms cut off during the genocide. Jean-Baptiste, if you can locate Frederick for me, I would love to have him back on the show, by the way. But what is your birthday? And I can look it up here and read it. How's that? Sam, are you there? Okay, he's not there. So let's see. Let's do my daughter's birthday, which is September the 13th. She's my oldest one, best big girl in the whole wide world. And her birthday is the day of passionate care. Those born on September 13th bring their full powers to bear on the job at hand, blessed with a remarkable level of concentration and resilient determination. They may face great obstacles to their success, but not for a moment will the outcome be in doubt for them at all. And that totally describes my daughter. Those of you who know, she actually graduated during COVID from Cornell. And for those that think that I pushed her as a recovering Tiger mom to go to an Ivy League school, that was all on her. She wanted to. She also had a difficult upbringing. There was a bit of trauma for her when the divorce happened. And then through the actions of not me, it was not a fun time, but she was very determined and made an amazing life for her. I'm so proud of her. And to balance out, I'm going to read my younger daughter's, which is October 19th. And she's my best little girl in the whole wide world, even though she's just graduated from college at UC Davis. So definitely not a little girl anymore. But this is the book I'm reading from, is The Secret Language Birthday. So if you want yours read, just put your birthday in the chat. We're celebrating Leos, but we can be generous and celebrate other signs. October 19th is the day of the projector. Those born on October 19th are independent, spirited, and outspoken people who bring liveliness to their surroundings. They are a little stubborn in their approach to life, and they love to partake in competition, but also bring that conflict wherever they go. So here's an example of, this is completely not my younger daughter. And I'm glad that I read this out, because not everything that you're reading in your horoscope or where you get your charts read or whatever it is the absolute truth. However, the older she gets, she is definitely getting more stubborn than what she was. So it's an interesting, it's same with personality tests. Not all of it is true, but the part that you can use to make make it a tool that you can learn from is really good. I'm going to go back to my birthday, which is August 10th. And the other thing that this book has is the strengths and weaknesses. And I think that it's important that we all have a good grasp and a balance between being aware of what we're good at and what we're not so good at. I think there are some people who think they are hot shiitake all the time, and they are, great in their own mind and don't balance it out with their weaknesses and things to improve. There are other extreme of people who are constantly saying sorry, constantly, even when it's not their fault, it's all my fault. Sorry. And being thinking of themselves as a piece of shiitake. And that both extremes are not helpful. They're not useful. They're not good for you. So the balance is to know your strengths, which is why we do the gratitude sandwich, and what you can appreciate about yourself. And at the same time, things you can work on. I usually try to start at, what are the 7 things that you like about yourself? They are your strengths, and 3 things that you want to improve on. I don't like 50-50. I think it's more important that you affirm things that you are good at and you like about yourself, because from that place, we can do much more than if you have 7 things that you don't like about yourself. Does that make sense? All right. So my strengths are structured, altruistic, and thoughtful, And my weaknesses are righteous, authoritarian, and prodding. So I 88% of the time, I am definitely thoughtful, altruistic, artistic, creative, and no fear. And then some of the time, I'm definitely controlling, stubborn, critical, and judgmental. I got that. I'll blame it on my mom, but not blaming it on her in a bad sense, but just giving myself some compassion that that's who she is. And of course, I'm going to have some of that criticality from my mom. She was my primary role model, and she's also genetically linked. And I say this because a lot of my coaching clients tell me that they just don't want to be like their mother. What's your goal in life? I just don't want to be like my mother, or I don't want to be like my father if they had bad experiences. And one of the first things for us to do to be at peace with ourselves is to recognize, acknowledge, and be okay with the fact that there are going to be some things where we are like our parents, because it just makes sense that we would be like them. So if that resonates with you, that's the reason why. All right. So I don't see anybody's birth dates being put on there. Sam, last chance. I don't know if you're still listening. If you want to put, you don't have to give the year of your birthday, but I have this book open. Sam. All right. So we'll do August 2nd because today is August 2nd. And it is, if you were born on August the 2nd, like my husband was, it's the day of the versatile signature. Those born on August 2nd are able to operate in a variety of areas while at the same time giving everything they do their personal, unmistakable stamp. Thus, although they may often appear to others to have gone off the track, given up their proven success, or succumbed to a new unrealistic temptation, they time and time again show their ability to make a triumph of their latest endeavor without sacrificing their essential identity. Chameleon-like, they embrace change while at the same time remaining themselves. So if you were born on the 2nd today, that's you were born on this day with those traits. Let me know if that they were at all true. Your strengths are versatility, adaptability, and determination. And your weaknesses are impervious, disconnected, and irresponsible. And of course, I'm going to say my husband definitely resembles those weaknesses and the strengths. All right. And if you were born on this day, other people that were born on this day include, let's see, Carol O'Connor. See if you, Bernadine Healy. She was the first women director of the National Institute of Health. Ira Progoff, who is a psychologist. Kathy Lennon, not John Lennon, the singer from the Lennon Sisters. These are older references. I don't recognize any of these names. Myrna Loy, some of you who may know older actresses. Let me see who was born on my birthday, August 10th. Patty Austin. Let's see if I recognize any of these. Herbert Hoover. U.S. president refused to finance employment after stock market crash. That's so weird. Something just fell off my counter in the kitchen. Wow. At the same time, Norma Shearer. She's an actress. Wolfgang Paul, Nobel Prize winning physicist. Not a lot of people that I recognize. So anyways, that is the end of the show for today. Thanks for tuning in. This is a show about hope and happiness. You are welcome to come back every single weekday morning. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my Leo station. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever.
Take back your life.